percussion coming off that thing standing right here.
Few things are more stirring to a gun junkie than a firearm machine to the very finest standards and built for practical use. And that is to a T how I would describe the Desert Tech SRS-A1. It's perfection and precision to another level. Not only that, it's modern and modular in ways few precision rifles can compete. Some guns just flaunt an intangible beauty because they do something special. An AR is modular, an AK is gritty, a Sturmgewehr is the original, a CZ is more unique, an HK carries prestige. Whatever your jam, the SRS is a combination of all of that. All right, I got it out of my system. Now that I'm done gushing, I'm gonna settle down, bring it back to reality, and get to some substance. The SRS, or Stealth Recon Scout, was largely developed to fill a market void, that being the lack of a maneuverable precision rifle. And whenever maneuverability comes to play, bullpups tend to rear their stubby heads. And bullpup is exactly the route that Desert Tech took when designing the SRS. Now there is a reason precision rifles aren't often built in bullpup form. Namely, it is nearly impossible to produce a bullpup trigger that could make a sniper smile with pride. There have been some solid attempts, no doubt, but most have been too big and heavy or lack durability. Nothing that can be considered a true battle-ready precision rifle, or sniper rifle if you will. And certainly nothing that's been commercially successful. Then along came the Desert Tech SRS. So what sets it apart? For one, they figured out that trigger bug. It's a superlative piece of hardware. The first time I pulled it, I was shocked. It's a no-holds-barred precision trigger to the core. Gone is the crappy trigger linkage you find on most bullpups, replaced with a smooth operator that feels at home next to custom jobs. It's that good. And these kind of surprises are a consistent theme with Desert Tech, or Desert Tactical Arms as it was originally known. As a company, they've been proving doubters wrong since the SRS was first introduced. Today, they're well established and respected in the shooting community. Though I gotta say, they better hurry up with that MDR. I am pumped for that thing. Back to the SRS. These guns are built for hard use and truck on with elegance. It's a true example of forward-thinking innovation executed with painstaking attention to detail. So beyond the short maneuverable stature of the SRS, you also have great modularity. Barrels and calibers can be swapped out in seconds. 4 bolts and a key and your barrel comes free. Remove the butt pad by pressing a lever and the bolt pops out, with a plug if you're running short action like this 6.5 Creedmoor. Replace it all with the caliber of your choice, reverse the process, and send some lead down range. And options are available. From the factory, you can choose between 7mm, 300 Win Mag, 308, 6.5 Creedmoor, 6.5 by 47 Lapua, 260 Remington, 338 Lapua, or just go for a custom barrel and your craziest wildcat dream can be fulfilled. If you plan on swapping barrels frequently, you definitely want a spec 5mm torque wrench to guarantee that return to zero. Desert Tech does sell this Seekonk T-handle that I definitely recommend for those of you with multiple calibers. As a side note, even the handguard is modular to an extent. It can also be removed, though it's on there rock solid, but it can be swapped out for the shorter SRS covert handguard if that's something you really desired for a truly short rifle. The quick change barrel system did lead to some limitations with the magazines. For a long time, all they had available were 6 rounds, and only 5 for the long action calibers. But Desert Tech did eventually work out the bugs and got the 10-round magazines to the market. Finally. These single stack mags are extremely expensive given the sheet metal construction, but they work great and still feel high quality with solid durability. The slightly flared magwell on the SRS works great too, and once you're used to the bullpup configuration, mags can be swapped quickly and easily. The magazine release is ambidextrous, as is the safety. Even the flush cups for slings can be found on either side. And surprisingly, shooting left-handed isn't an issue. It's not quite as comfortable, and you do have to break your cheek weld when racking the bolt, but it's easy all the same. For full-time lefties, they have released the left-hand model as well, so you're covered if you suffer from the left-handed disease like me. But if you have the bolt matched up to the proper hand, despite the unorthodox location, it is very easily manipulated without breaking your cheek weld. I've seen people bobbing their head up and down all over the place between shots. I don't get that, just leave it there. If not for years of repetition with classic bolt guns, I don't think anyone would blink at the redesigned ergos. After a little practice, it begins to feel very natural, and in some ways, I've grown to prefer the location. The 3-lug bolt does take a little breaking in, but that's nothing that can't be solved with a little dry fire practice practice while watching American Sniper. With proper lubrication and a little use, it's going to run like butter, though it's always going to take a little more muscle than what you'd find on custom bolt guns. In the end, what matters most is that it reliably chucks brass, and that it does. The polymer skins are durable and easily removed from the chassis with a series of screws. The fit is very solid and they seem to be real resistant to marking. I haven't been hard on my SRS, but I haven't babied it either, and they show little wear. But underneath these skins is a true work of fine machining art. We're talking razor blade exactness in every corner. You'll have to coax yourself into putting these skins back on, as it's a shame to cover up such beauty. Then again, for cleaning, you're never going to need to remove the skins. And Desert Tech does sell a bore guide specific to the SRS, so you don't end up marring that beautiful bore. Back to the trigger. This glass rod of a masterpiece is fully adjustable for pull weight, starting around 3 pounds from the factory and fine-tuned up or down from there. I have mine set at a light 2.5 pounds. In addition to pull weight, it even adjusts forward and back for different hand sizes. Combine that with the ability to adjust the length of pull with stock inserts, and you can fit it to any shooter's frame like a glove. Moving on to the ever popular topic of accuracy. Clearly, I'm not running a factory barrel right now. I'm in the process of working up some loads for this custom job, and I'll probably post a video of it in the future. That said, the factory barrel is incredible in its own right. My first time out, this is what I was seeing at 110 yards with factory Hornady 6.5 Creedmoor ammunition, both 120 and 140 grain. These are all 3 and 5 shot groups, well below half MOA, usually creating one jagged hole. And that or better is easily obtainable from the factory barrel. Impressive stuff, no doubt. Work up some loads through ladder testing, and it's going to be shooting more accurately than you're capable of, especially for tactical shooting competitions or real-life scenarios. I'm talking bench rest category of accuracy. What's more, the rifle is very forgiving of load inconsistency. It really is hard to load an inaccurate round for this tack driver.
Here we go. 200 yards through 700. Fire. We'll do better at that. 2.2. 600. Gotta mark these better. 3. 700 is 4.
Now you might have noticed this is the SRS-A1, basically a Gen 2. And the A1 designation brought some nice changes. It has a much improved butt pad for one, providing comfort that the original SRS owners pined for. Then you get an adjustable comb, which I think is necessary for a precision rifle. I also greatly prefer the modular handguard on the A1. Full-length Picatinny quad rails just feel dated to me and add unnecessary weight. Just looking at this rifle, it's hard to tell how truly compact it is. You've got to consider that I've got a 26-inch barrel topped with a 9-inch suppressor. This is an impressively short package with those specs. Put those on your Remington 700 and you're going to be reaching to the moon with that extra length. As far as accessories, I did opt for the optional monopod assembly. It largely negates the need for a rear bag and is extremely stable. It allows for rough and fine adjustment, easily manipulated from the prone position. And when paired with a solid bipod like the Atlas here, disciplined prone shooting can keep up with a gun rest on a bench. But even with all of that, it would be a shame to have such a capable rifle without some solid glass. I opted for the Vortex HD Gen 2 4.5 to 27 by 56 with the EBR-2C Christmas tree style MRAD reticle. Man, this 34mm tube has crystal clear glass and stacks up against scopes 3 times the cost. Not that it's cheap. Even at 27 power looking beyond 1,000 yards, the clarity is impressive. Still, your optics are only as good as the mount that holds it in place, so I went with the GDI 20 MOA mount. As a bonus, it allows for a 45-degree red dot mounting, great if a deer were to sneak up on you with the scope at full magnification. I can transition from shooting out to a mile to 20 yards in the blink of an eye. Overall, this scope mount combo is almost perfect for me, just a hair on the heavy side, and my heavy profile barrel doesn't help with matters. Though I gotta say the weight distribution of a bullpup is excellent. I can still shoot this roughly 20-pound rifle offhand and hold it there with relative ease considering the weight. Try that with another rifle of that weight. The SRS can be found in FDE, an FDE black combo, or straight black. I decided to go to town with some Duracoat to fulfill my love fest with the green FDE combo. This particular color I used was sniper green. Seemed fitting. There aren't many shortcomings with the SRS, but the price will irk some people. But you gotta know when you get into the precision game, it's hard for the budget-minded. You pay exponentially for those extra millimeters of accuracy. You can find much cheaper rifles out there that will do 90% of what the SRS does. But even with substantially more money, you're gonna be hard-pressed to outperform this bullpup demon. If I get real nitpicky, I have noticed that there's some primer flow on my spent cases. I'd assume it's just because of that free float firing pin and the extra size of the pinhole. There are bushings to correct this, but it's not something that worries me in the slightest. The primer indentations are solid and I've never had an issue. Finally, Desert Tech has been known for a few delays when getting products to production. Again, remembering those 10-round mags that took forever to come out, or the MDR, which we've been waiting on for quite some time now. While annoying, it's still good to see that they don't pump trash into the market and instead ensure that everything meets their high expectations. I can exercise a little patience if I know the end product will be worth the wait. The customer service seems to be fine. Email inquiries were usually answered, though I've never had to send the rifle in for service. When push comes to shove, there's no denying. Desert Tech shattered boundaries with the release of the SRS. They're outside-the-box thinkers who continue to innovate. I look forward to seeing what they release in the future. But for now, it's just special to have a war machine with such a delicate touch and exactness while simultaneously dropping the hammer. 6.5 Creedmoor at 25 yards, not the greatest idea on AR-400 steel. Look at that. Right through the couple others that hit. There's the hole, couple others that hit. Almost went through.
Bullseye. Right down the middle.
Alright, here's a couple groups. That's my group. There's Bryce's group. And 2 more groups. I believe they're 3-shot groups, possibly 5. That was the first one. Adjusted the scope. That second group is a little bit smaller than it looks. Those tears make it look a little bit larger.
Hit. A little bit on the right side. There you go, found it.